Mark stood in the quiet lobby of the 12-unit complex, the weight of the moment pressing down on him. In his hand, he held a signed purchase contract, a document that could change his life or ruin it. Beside him, the broker's smile was too wide, too eager. "You need to sign the waiver now," the broker whispered. "There are 2 other bidders waiting in the wings. If you want this deal, you skip the inspection." Mark looked up, his eyes tracing the jagged lines of peeling paint on the ceiling. He noticed the rusted, orange flakes on the stairwell railing. The air smelled of damp concrete and old secrets. His heart hammered against his ribs. The pressure to win was immense, but the data didn't add up. Slowly, Mark pulled his hand back from the desk. He didn't say a word. He simply turned, walked through the glass doors, and dialed his inspector. 3 days later, the sun beat down on the gravel roof as the inspector knelt by the flashing. He pointed a gloved finger at a massive, hidden crack. It was a jagged wound in the building's skin, a channel that had been funneling rainwater directly into the main electrical panel for years. "This is a ticking time bomb," the inspector muttered. They moved inside, descending into the bowels of the building. In the darkness of a utility closet, the flashlight beam hid a nightmare. The boiler was groaning, leaking a thick, black sludge that pooled like oil on the concrete floor. It was a symphony of neglect. Mark watched as the inspector noted every violation, every rusted pipe, and every fire hazard. The romantic vision of the investment was replaced by the cold, hard reality of structural decay. Each click of the inspector's camera sounded like a warning bell, echoing through the empty halls. Mark walked back into the broker's office, but he wasn't the same man who had wavered in the lobby. In his arms, he carried a thick, heavy binder, the final report. It was a 100-page testament to everything wrong with the property. He slammed the binder onto the mahogany desk with a sound like a gavel. The broker's smile vanished instantly. "What is this?" the broker asked, his voice losing its edge. Mark didn't blink. "This is $100,000 in immediate life safety and structural repairs," Mark stated, his voice flat and unwavering. He flipped the binder open, pointing to the photos of the cracked flashing and the oozing boiler. "You told me to waive the inspection. You told me to ignore the signs." Mark leaned in, his shadow falling over the broker's paperwork. "I'm not walking away, but the price is changing. I demand a $100,000 credit to cover these costs, or I walk out that door right now and never look back." The silence in the room was absolute. The broker looked at the evidence, then at Mark's eyes, realizing the leverage had shifted entirely. There were no other bidders who would take this on once this report became public record. Within the hour, the seller's signature was on the amendment. The deal was saved, but on Mark's terms. He walked out of the closing room with the keys cold in his pocket and his dignity intact. He hadn't just bought a building. He had conquered a crisis before it even began. Back at his desk, the adrenaline faded, replaced by the quiet satisfaction of a professional. Mark opened his laptop and began the real work. He didn't see the repairs as a burden. He saw them as a schedule. He logged every finding into his capital expenditure file, mapping out the next 5 years of the building's life. He knew exactly when the roof would be replaced and exactly how much cash was reserved for the boiler. The trap of the surprise repair had been dismantled. He picked up his phone and started calling contractors. The numbers were real, and the risk was contained. Mark was already looking for the next property, armed with one unwavering rule: inspect every unit, verify every system, and never let the pressure of a deal outweigh the data.